What's up, Army? Welcome back to Redemption 46 Studios. I'm Nick.
I'm Curtis.
You know the vibes. Y'all seen the picture. Y'all seen the thumbnail. Y'all know why y'all here. BTS is whipped for Jin, and so am I. If you're whipped for Jin, hit that subscribe button because it's Jin Day. Woo!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to the vocal god. Also, make sure you guys jump on the Patreon. It's a lot of exclusive Jin content on there, especially today. We got like more of his covers on there. It was a GQ interview that me and Kurt covered on there. And there's going to be more content like this for him on there, too. Jin, he's a special member, man. Definitely has a special place in my heart, so I'm very interested to see kind of some more behind the scenes stuff, some more videos like this, and just some more covers. And thank you to Redeemers for like putting us on to this. This in particular, shout out to Army Not Army. She gave me like this and a couple other Jin-centric videos that were kind of like cute amalgamations of like 8 to 10 minutes of just pure Jin fandom, fandomonium, awesome. Or I'm trying to find like a decent word, the Jinomania. Jinomania. Just
Ginterest.
Ginterest
with a
oh, that's decent too, the Ginterest.
Or like Ginception or something.
So yeah,
like
some good
any IN word.
Some Ginergy. Just some good Jin energy. No long term, man. Y'all better be subscribed,
thank you,
man.
Army.
Yeah, really thank you. And thank you for Army in general. You guys are the backbone really to like our channel, and guys have been with us since day one. A lot of y'all have never left. I told y'all this month I'm definitely going to try to do a couple of things that are going to be real special Army centric stuff. Just because y'all always show love regardless of anything and stuff. You guys are always open-minded, especially like the real Redeemers. But no long talk, we can jump into this and have a conversation about Jin when we're done.
Of course.
So freaking cute.
This moment that he knew he
I love when they add the fire like edits underneath there when someone's raging. Happy birthday, Jin.
Jin.
I was gonna say, that's gotta be hope, right?
Look fine. Listen, I hope we get in the photographer mode.
Imagine you just chilling, it's like, yo, you look good, hang on. Like. I was gonna say,
them strings be hurting like
them
shit.
straps hurt.
I barely pulled it.
I was tensing up a little. I was
Oh shit, they look like us reacting.
Crowd applause. It's like it was supposed to be a selfie with one friend. Everyone else said whatever editor turned the pitch up on that is fucking hilarious too.
아니 지금 이 화면을 보시면 지금 제 옷이 이렇게 살짝 이 보일까 말까 해서 굉장히 섹시해요. 네. 아 좋아요. 월드와이드 숄더. 이게 참된 인정이지.
Worldwide shoulders. Instead of worldwide handsome. That was good.
진짜 멋있는데요. 이 거울이 이렇게 있는데 제가 이렇게 돌리면 진짜 몸이 보이거든요. 진짜 몸 좋은데 사실 저는 비교도 안 돼요. 뭐 제가 보여주고 싶지만 이를 내가 잡는다. 기대도 좋아.
이곳의 몸값은 억 단위입니다. 바로 여기 있네요. 이곳의 몸값은 억 단위입니다.
김석진이야 얼마? 김석진이야 저희 팀. 저희 김석진 팀이요. 저희 팀 김석진이요. 인기 폭발인데요.
그러게요. 내가 제대로 나온 게 없네. 뭘 제대로 나온 게 있어?
아 저리 가.
형은 제대로 안 나와서 생겼잖아요.
아니
He's really not allowed to selfie alone.
Why is V like that?
Squeaky voice edits are hilarious.
뭐 하실 거예요?
김석진이요.
김석진? 네. 우리는 김석진 어때?
아 약간 오해가 있을 수가 있으니까 석진킴 어때요?
석진킴 좋다.
석진팀인데 석진팀. 김석진 팀인데 석진팀 하실 겁니까?
오케이. 그렇게 하시죠.
우리 경보야.
교보팀.
오케이 갑시다. 김석진 팀 대 석진팀. 오케이.
찌요. 기지가 한번 펴줘요.
I hope he following him, trying to still get picture.
촬영이 가장 재밌었어요. 솔직히 나야. 솔직히 자 들어봅시다. 하나, 둘, 셋. 진형 와. 자 여기서 나오네. 우리 좀 까나리 이런 거 한번 먹어보자. 그거 엄청 많이 흐리는 밥상 엄청 싫어해.
그러니까 제일 싫어할 사람이 그거라고 했어.
내가 이러려고 발전 치는 게 아까워가지고.
This isn't what I'm here for.
내가 막 그럴 거잖아.
아니 내가 안 걸리면 되지. 걸리면 돼. 내가 이러려고 해야지. 어디 판다고요?
It's a fire ass coat.
I was gonna say.
And I love Jen hair right there.
It's a good look. He caught him.
He's trying to catch Jen midriff.
Imagine like, yo, Jin, can you reach the top shelf?
She's like,
He's like, damn it. Hey, mad as hell.
운전대 왕자라. 자기들이 왕자인데.
우리 스타키어 필요하지 않아?
나이대 맞지 않는
이게 좀 깜찍함이 있어야 돼 원래 사람
여기 우리 마지막에 나올 수 있는
저게 무슨 발음이 나오기 위한 이 모양이지?
They're so young.
역시 진영이 아닐까. 사실 심정만한 그런 얼굴을 가지고 있기 때문에.
이게 누우면 그 다른 형들의 방의 침대가 아른아른 거리고요.
yeah.
조만간 제 방에 침대를 좀 갖다 뺄 생각이에요. 그러면 어디서 찾으라고요? 큰 침대요. 좋네요. 자, 오뎅이랑 어묵이랑 손잡고 같이.
형 진짜 이름 잘 지은 것 같아요.
이진이,
우리 성진이 형 부모님께 감사 인사드려요. 성진이, 찐이, 이진이,
Why you do the zoom in?
인정해주세요.
It's that Suge smile. He's sleeping peacefully as hell. Oh my god.
형 원래 잘생겼고
야 이게 실시간으로 올라가는 그 조회수랑 그 하트 수야?
맞습니다.
야 기술이 발달했네.
걔가 넓긴 하구나. 형,
왜?
너무 약간
I love when they joke about his shoulders.
죽일 순
He
없잖아.
does have nice shoulders.
밥만 먹이는데 밥으로 먹이는데 아이 해외 가면은 매니저분들이 이렇게 저희한테 메뉴를 물어봐요. 혹시 뭐 드시겠습니까? 이러면 지민이랑 정국이가 아 저희는 뭐 진영이 먹는 걸로 진영방에 갖다 주세요. 아니
In the studio too. That was really sweet.
Oh no, not them with the cute music like as well and stuff. I'ma always love like all these videos and stuff.
Slice of life moments.
Yeah, just because I know like the cutesy videos aren't for like everybody on the panel, and I know some people like don't particularly want to do some of the videos like kind of these. I'm not gonna name people. But I just love all the content. I just love seeing them in their element. How can I word this? I am very comfortable with who I am, my sexuality, and my masculinity, that I don't mind hugging my friends or kind of like being in my friends' spaces or jumping in the bed or like doing anything. I respect people's like space and everything like that, but I don't mind being very playful like with my friends. I love how BTS just always are around each other. You don't never get like no weird energy. Everything is always kind of just like little brother, big brother like situations. I love how they hype each other up, where it's just like, you look really good today. Yeah. Or just like, look at his broad shoulders. Like, it's just like, and I know even when they look like they irked, when it's just like, just leave me alone. It's just always like cute and just a cute playfulness. And I just think it's decent. Imagine you're with you. These are essentially real life your brothers. Y'all sleep together, y'all eat together, y'all train together, y'all go on tour together, y'all travel together, y'all grew up together, graduations together, birthday parties together.
Practice everything.
There are so many groups, and like I don't like shitting on like American artists, but so many like just kind of American groups where pull up any biopic, and for the most part, you'll see where it went left at some part in that biopic. Yeah. Whether, you know, and sometimes it's management, where management might want to pluck a person and kind of have them go solo, because some groups are almost destined to fail when management steps in and has ulterior motives. All that to say, I just love the camaraderie that these guys have, and just the synergy, and just like the pure. There's like a pure, natural, like positive energy that's in here. It's not forced. Exactly. You never feel like they're just kind of doing anything because the camera is on, and I just love that. But with Jin, just in particular, I don't want to sound like a broken record. If you've watched my other videos, you'll kind of get where I'm at with Jin. Earlier on, I always knew he was like a strong vocalist. I think like you can never deny that. Since day one, you always kind of knew just the vocal power was there. Early on, when I first started listening to them, sometimes I questioned line distribution when it came to him, and I always just kind of wanted a little bit more. I already knew, like, you know, they called him like worldwide handsome, and the broad shoulder thing honestly is a thing, because I did think he had like a nice shoulder physique. And what's funny too is when I talk to my sisters and their friends, and just be like, you know, they've had conversations where it's like, who's the boyfriend material? Girls always say Jin, and they always be like, he looks like he'd be good to take pictures with. He seems pretty taller too. I don't know. It seems like a good person to bring home to your mom. He looks like he can be goofy, but also like you can have fun and everything like that. So I don't know, yo, ladies.
That's a good line on the wall.
Yeah, we're following like 80% of like our followers, or redeemers are like women and stuff.
Yeah.
And men, jump in the comments if y'all want to and tell us his Jin boyfriend material.
They're gonna be like,
Yes. But with that being said, with the limited amount of information like I had about him, it just was I kind of wanted to learn more. And
these are great opportunities for that as well.
Yeah, and once we got into the Rise episodes, particularly once we got into the Run and In the Soup episodes, you just learn so much more about Jin, and it's just like I honestly can see how he can be a lot of people's biased. I honestly can see how he can wreck you a lot. He wrecked me in person when we went to Vegas. Not like that. Nah, but like he real life bias wrecked me. In a word of that, he real life bias wrecked me in Vegas. You remember that turnaround?
We were in different seasons.
Yeah. But he did real life like stole the show from me like in Vegas when he was out there.
Got the footage somewhere.
Probably. And it's just especially ever since Vegas, like I don't know. I have a deep connection with him.
No, for sure.
Just because like I like how he's always kind of the feet in the members, and like he's the oldest, and then they go for him talk to him with certain conversations. Yeah. Certain conversations just stood out. Like we said, I'm not sure if you were here, but we mentioned to you the conversation that Suge had with Jin.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that episode, but I was there for the conversation when you brought it up.
Just the conversation seemed like it came so like out of left field, but it was just one of those things where like Suge was talking to Jin and just was on the type time like, I only go this hard because of you.
Yeah.
And just I see you working so hard, and you're essentially like my big brother. I want to work as hard so you can be proud of me. And then just his advice, like he's so good at giving advice too that you wouldn't have thought.
He often gives RM advice actually too. And it's just knowing how much RM kind of does for everyone else around him. Just knowing that RM is able to not only look up to Jin as like his young and everything like that, but also just
getting advice.
Yeah, like it's just that's really just incredible, and he gives incredible advice from what we had seen in the brief snippets. And I know there's a lot more out there as we get into Bon Voyage and American Hustle Life or whatever, things like that.
And the advice wasn't how sometimes people be kicking you advice, and I don't want to say like they want to big up themselves.
It's hard, but yeah. Sometimes
people will give you advice and like, yo, follow what I did. His advice would be more so like, at least with the Sugar situation, it seemed so real where it was just like, yo, I be bullshitting sometimes. I'm not even working as hard as y'all work, and I'm almost faking the funk just to try to compete with what y'all got going on. Yeah. And I forget, I don't want to, y'all going to probably say it in the comments because I forget what he told Suge verbatim. Suge basically was like, Suge always said he felt like he wasn't like doing enough regardless of what the awards was, and Jin had said something to him along the lines of like, you need to feel proud of every accolade and everything that you've accomplished so far because you're still so young and you have like one of the brightest futures here, and you need to continue to keep pushing and doing what you're doing. But just like moments like that, him like checking up on people and just, I don't know, he's just always kind of like the life of the party to me, and just like one of the funnest people that you kind of want to hang out with. And then who looks like that when they sleep? Like he's modeling.
Right.
Jin just has a special place in my heart. I'm gonna let you get your clip off, but he wrecks me more often than like he should probably, especially when they're not even singing, when they're just kind of just doing slice of life stuff. And it's just, I'm so proud of him. Outside of what we seen he did with Super Tuna, just joking, then with the Astronaut, with BTS, he has some of the most beautiful ballads, like with the group and by himself. The stuff that he's able to do on these Japanese tracks, he literally turns those tracks like into his own tracks. The covers that we just listened to that he just did, I still haven't had a chance to listen to the original versions, but he turned those covers into something of his own, because I think that was the the I Love You joint, the Silent Engage joint in particular was one of my joints.
Autumn Outside the Post Office or whatever.
Another God tier one. I love the joint with him and V was on repeat.
That too.
Just with that like that uppity bounce that like it had to
OST,
it.
if I'm not mistaken.
For that show V was on. So he's very special to me, and like I'm sad that, you know what I mean, he has to, like, you know, do what he has to do in the Army, but also like very proud of him, and I hope that I'm never a person to say I wish time goes by fast, because I want to cherish every day, but I definitely want him to be very safe, for him to make his country proud, make his family proud, do what he has to do in the Army, and I'm very anxious to see what everything has in store for him. Because I was scared before. I thought he would be a member that would not want to do music, maybe. And shout out to all the Redeemers that was like, no, it's the opposite, and was giving me links and other stuff, and was like, nah, he wants to do music. This isn't a situation where if they stop, if BTS isn't together, he's not doing anything. He actively still wants to do music, wants to do a solo project, wants to do everything. So that kind of like made me go,
no, that's amazing.
Like, you know what I mean? Because I selfishly still want music from everybody. Obviously, I still want people to be happy, to relax, to re-energize themselves, find themselves if they need to. But I just feel like these men have so much more to tell, whether it's individually or whether it's together. And I'm gonna let you jump in, and then I'll probably give a little bit more. But that's my spiel for Jen. So.
I got you. I completely agree. Honestly, everything we've come to see of Jin, and the more and more content we get of him, I absolutely get it. And, you know, I certainly consider myself OT7 as well. I mean, every member that we've really seen has, you know, and I don't want to say it's especially true with more of the solo things, but it's just when you're getting a little bit more of their colors individually and their flavors individually, it does give you a lot more to have to kind of process and digest, and, you know, it certainly makes everyone much more of a candidate to be anyone's kind of record. But it's all that to say, it's just there's so much, they're on such a level and such a high caliber of, you know, having everyone's, you know, respect and everything like that, that you can't help but, you know, feel wrecked really by all of them as far as, you know, biases go and everything. And I know it's honestly more so fun kind of just banter for us as far as like that thing, as opposed to like, you know, really knocking anyone down like a step or anything like that. But everything that we've seen from Jin, and that I've particularly seen, I've really loved. And especially, like, I remember in the early days especially, I was I don't want to say confused or anything, but it was just, I was more so interested as far as the line distribution stuff.
Same.
You know, it was more so like, oh, okay, is this to say that this person fits better with this, or is this to say that this person, you know, like, because I also try to think of things in terms of albums and things where it's like, oh, maybe they, you know, shine on this track a lot more to where, you know, because I'm also thinking about like logistics of like, you know, performing and straining your vocals and doing the choreo to where, like, you know, if I know, you know, someone has to, you know, like, the Cookie has to do like ad libs and runs and the hook and all that, and then do the choreo and be in the subunit for this. Like, if I have all that going on, then a track right after that, for example, might be a little less Cookie centric as far as like logistic performance. But that's me. That's the me who's just entered K-pop, who's just trying to understand it and kind of process everything.
You would think you want to delegate work a little bit more.
Yeah. And I know it's different, you know, because clearly when they're in the process of making art and everything like that, they're not saying, you know, oh, when we get on stage, you know, when this is done in 10 months or whatever, that, you know, like you're thinking of the art, you know. So I kind of tried to just, you know, view it through a different lens, I guess, so to speak. But as you had said, you know, everything that we had seen with Jin has only, like, he's only been someone that has just grown so much more the more you know about him. And honestly, I really do feel like that with everyone. And I'm not trying to, you know, just say that to play it safe or anything, but it's the more you learn about them, the more connected you feel to them. And it's like there's never like a cutoff point where it's like, you know, well, I have the utmost respect for them. It's like the more you learn and the more you kind of dive into, you still, you know, really, you know, feel that way. So, you know, in regards to everything that we've kind of, you know, seen about those things, you know, it's really amazing. And as you had said, with him being someone who gives RM advice, who gives other members advice, who tries to cook along with Suge and everything for the group, and just being someone who ultimately we understand what the cultural significance is of hierarchy and everything, and him being the oldest member in the group and trying so much to take care of everyone, trying so much to give advice, but never really seeming like he comes at it from an authoritative perspective, like where it's not like I'm the oldest, respect me, I'm the boss sort of thing. Like it never feels like that. It's always like he's goofy, he's eccentric, he's I don't want to say a child at heart, because I don't want the connotations of that to seem like he's like not adult-like in any sense, because that's not certainly true. But he just has this
very youthful,
exactly youthful, and has this inner like childlike innocence to him, and just his playfulness, and I love that about him. And honestly, I wasn't, clearly I wasn't, or you weren't, or any of us weren't really around like when the early days of BTS, when they were just being a group. But Jin was essentially the character that they had kind of made for him was meant to be more stoic. And not talk, and be kind of almost like, I don't want to say like a bad boy type, but just kind of someone who, because he was casted for his looks, and I'm not taking away anything from his talent. That's only to add to it, because of how hard he's worked to be an elite level dancer, an elite level vocalist for sure, and just such a warm personality on top of all that. So goofy, funny, eccentric, all those things. So in those early days when it was, I don't want to say it was a little harder perhaps to connect to him, because I don't want to make it seem like it was anything like that, and I'm only clearly speculating, so take it with a grain of salt. But
I feel you, bro. When you get more doses
it's just,
of other people,
if someone is meant to be like someone who doesn't talk, who's meant to be an archetype, who's meant to be the bad boy kind of type, or something like that, to where they're just a little more dismissive seemingly, it might be a little, or you might have connected with so-and-so, first, second, third, rather than, at least all that to say there, I could see situations where it, like, but that's what, like, I mean that to say that the impact of when you really get to know Jin, I feel like that's why it sneaks up on people so much. Now, granted, of course, this is from the early ARMY perspective, not anything that would necessarily be relevant to me. But again, just, kind of getting little insights of some of the Rise episodes and things of that nature, like in the early days. But I just really like that he isn't someone who, is, like, he's someone who's very, I don't want to say, like, necessarily stubborn or stern, like, when he speaks up against, the company or anything like that, as far as, like, the interests of the members and everything like that. Like, he really does, like, he is protective of them and everything like that. But I do think it's ultimately something that he's, like, it's just, I love that he's so, like, it never feels like everyone is, below him or anything, because of the hierarchy of age and everything. And I know there's, groups that have, like, those kind of things go for them as well. And maybe it's to say that it's just when you're so close as brothers, you really just kind of get to a point where you don't really, you can speak casually to each other, to where that's, like, less of a thing. But all the members still treat him the same. And just, to touch on the video a little bit, even, him going to take a selfie or take a picture, and, 4 or 5 members going right up to him and hug him and trying to be part of it and photobomb. It's just, like, he really is someone that all the members, like, gravitate towards. And I especially love, and, particularly in this video, is the connection he had with Hope, or how Hope was seemingly, like, seeking him out for the pictures,
for the pictures,
chasing him down for the phone, all those things, the hugs, like those things were all so funny, and it felt like, and it's just knowing Hope's, like, eccentric, bubbliness, like, it just it paired so well, I feel like, for what snippets we saw in this video, and I really liked all those moments a lot. But then knowing that he is someone who gives such great advice, he's insanely intelligent too, by the way. I don't know if you know, but he's like really like a certified genius.
No, I believe he was at the top of his class and everything like that.
Graduated, college and all these things as well. So it's like you're doing all this too while performing and everything like that. And it's like, and I absolutely love and admire and adore RM to, like, the highest caliber. But it's like, I don't want to say people overlook Jin or anything in those regards, but it's just like, Jin is insanely intelligent, too, in his own right. And it's just, all that to say, it's just, really shining a light on, like, the impact he has, to the members and everything. And as you said, you get into, like, the Japanese tracks, and like it just, like he just like leaves Earth almost. No pun intended with astronaut.
Yeah, I said that on the joints. Like,
I feel like I do that all the
call
time.
him an astronaut because his bar is out of this world. To piggyback
really
too,
is.
bro. Not to cut your point off completely,
No,
but I
you're
wanted
good,
to,
you're
I wanted to toss something your way. We never speak on like this because like, and let me start off my phrase by saying like every single member had to work extremely hard to get to where they are now. There's no way that you start off kind of just being like, you know, a dancer or a singer and being able to kind of do everything that BTS has done collectively all together. I have the utmost respect for all members, and I felt like all of their work ethics are out of this world. With that being said, I might go as far as to say Jin had to work harder than any member in this entire group. And the reason being is each member from the group was brought in with a skill set already.
No, I see what you mean.
Whether that's writing, whether that's dancing, whether that was producing, whether that was vocals or anything, they all had a skill set. His skill set was he looked good.
Yeah.
He didn't have, at least to my knowledge, and y'all can tell me because the Rise hasn't said this, or Redeemers or anyone hasn't said this, he didn't have a vocal background, a dance background, or anything to my knowledge coming into this. He just was recruited because of like how good he looked.
Yeah.
He had to learn how to sing, learn how to dance and do everything. Wow.
At these elite levels.
What exactly? Imagine he had, and I know maybe it's like because obviously we talk about how hard BTS works, and I don't want anyone to take anything I'm about to say like outside of that. They still were kind of prodigies from what I see with certain members. Anytime people heard RM rap and just was like, yo, he's the next it. I don't know what it is, but he's the next it. Anytime Suge at, you know, what y'all said, like the age of 16 was producing for other people who were already out, talking about people were burning him for money and everything because he was producing all these tracks and doing stuff or whatever and writing and in rap ciphers and everything at a young age, kind of sounds like a young genius. That's two. From what I was told, Hope's dancing was just b-boying kind of out of this world and everything like that, and kind of was like a good member. And Jimin was a contemporary dance kind of king, from what I've been told. So that's kind of four,
And then Cookie
like members, and then JK is just kind of, you know, I'm not gonna talk about the hard work he puts in, but just early on you could see how special Cookie was gonna be. And V, I'm not sure what the background was. I think he did have like a vocal background because he's been wanted to like sing and do stuff.
I know he was the last to be revealed.
Last to be revealed, but I know he had a background and knew what he wanted to do already.
Yeah.
So all that to say, like, I felt like Jin, if we're being honest, kind of started at the lowest of the totem pole as far as like things that you could do coming into the group. With that being said, to have kind of one of the strongest voices I've ever heard for a guy that just got picked up the street is just crazy.
No,
we just talked about that run choreo. And even other choreo outside of that, he's an elite dancer. So just imagine kind of your bass was at the floor and now like you're at the ceiling. Versus other members who, you know, their bass was kind of a little higher up or kind of in between, and then went. And like I said, I know everybody put in work. I've watched enough videos. We collectively have seen enough to see every member worked hard. But it is something about Jin that's just a little bit more.
I will say, just to kind of add to that point. I definitely get what you mean, and especially adding in the being the oldest, as far as like what that means in a group, having to be the oldest, having to be the one that kind of, you know, like represent someone that is to be looked up to and everything, and just, you know, him embodying that in all those ways as well. So I definitely, you know, admire and respect all those aspects as well. In regards to the hardship thing, it's I mean, I know every member has kind of had their own way, and
struggles.
honestly, and I don't want to make this about that or anything, but one thing I will say is I know, at least me personally, that was one of the reasons that Yoongi became my bias, as far as the shoulder and hiding it, you know, with the choreo, as far as like, because it was like you're doing all those things, but then you're hiding it from everyone, you know, friends, family, because you don't know. I mean, someone could just like, yo, I'm concerned about his health, like, pull him aside and look at him. Next thing you know, you cut. That's it. You know, career over. So it's like he wasn't even exposing those things to friends, you know, seemingly within the group. There's so just kind of, you know, gritting your teeth and just grinding and you know, working through that. So it's like I admire all
That's
those
definitely
things.
a big hill.
Yeah, and it's so they all did kind of start off in different plateaus, but I know exactly what you're alluding to, and clearly what Jimin had to go through. I mean his you know, his concerns with looks and his identity and everything, and just not feeling comfortable with himself, not wanting to really expose himself, being, you know, I don't want to necessarily say more shy, but just like
I know
more,
what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like it's like you don't.
Yeah,
like,
and I don't want people, like I said, to think that that's a knock on any. Because
no,
and I don't
absolutely.
think you was in it.
No, yeah.
Everyone's struggle definitely was like their struggle. And I would never whether it comes to depression or anything else, I'm never a person to tell someone what struggle was worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just objectively looking from the outside in. My thing is more so on a talent level as
I know what you
opposed to what's going on. But you do make Suge is another one that I kind of felt very bad for, obviously with the shoulder joint, and Jimin obviously.
Yeah.
And like I said, we've seen enough iterations of the rises, like some of the conversations in the soup and some interviews and other stuff to kind of gauge everyone's trauma early on. But yeah, my comment was more so of a talent standpoint as opposed to
like the tools you had in your toolbox, as opposed to the actual craftsman at hand.
Yeah, but no, you made an interesting, like that's an interesting point, and that's how I felt about Suge when we started going into his
absolutely
his whole spill. But
and it's, the only thing I was really going to add to that was just all that to say, like obviously they've all, you know, clearly been on, you know, these incredible, you know, having to climb over the mountain type of journeys that they've had to, you know, traverse through together, really. So it's the reason though, just kind of circling this back to Jin, was just knowing what you had said. It's just not to say it gets overlooked, but more so we're just shining a very specific light to say that he's had to work so incredibly hard. Of course, all of them had, but just shining, you know, that light and just saying, like, you know, he has too among that, and then you know, getting your skill set up to that. And honestly, I really think that's ultimately very inspirational. Just in the sense of, I mean, not just in the sense, but when you're around people who are, I don't want to say necessarily better than you, but you know how there's that saying where it's like, you know, if you're the smartest in the room, you need to be in a different room, kind of thing. I really like that, as far as like if you're like if you're around all these people who you can pick up things from. It's like, you know, RM, you know, as far as like his bank of knowledge, the songwriting, Suge with the producing, you know, more of the rap stuff, Hope and you know, Jim and Cookie with, you know, all the dancing and everything, and so much more beyond that. And it's like, I'm not discrediting Tay or anything like that, because his very, like, you know, soul and contemporariness, as far as like his music range, is going to be very different as well. So it's like he's going to bring something different to the table as well. And there was a reason, you know, they kind of saved him for last, seemingly, is that they want it to be a reveal, seemingly. So it's like, you know, clearly they all, you know, very much believed in Tay as well. And I don't want to, you know, discredit any of that as well. So it's just all that to say, it's just like when everyone brings something so specific to the table, and it's like you're able to kind of pick up, you know, seeds from this person, seeds from this person, seeds from this person, and just grow from that. And it's just, that's really, and I feel like they've all really done that with each other. You know, each of them, you know, picking up things from the others around them. And I think that's why when you see videos like this, just like tying it back to this, it's like when you see videos like this, they almost feel like there is a very deep connection with them, clearly, but it goes so much more beyond that, where it's like if any of them are really away from each other, like you feel it, like they always want to, you know, be connected. It's like, even like, you know, trivial things like a selfie is just like, nah, like everyone got to be there, or everyone's gonna you know, make an effort to photobomb. And of course that's all in playful nature, but and I just want to circle back real quick to what you had said in the beginning, where as far as like being comfortable in your masculinity and everything like that, and just knowing that, you know, friends who are, you know, cool hugging each other and being around each other. And it's just, like, I ultimately, like, just as a side note, feel like the world would just really be a better place if people were like that, because it's like, I know it's common to kind of want to hide emotions and things of that nature, and you know, whether it's for the sake of, you know, trying to seem, I don't even want to say more masculine, but just, you know, more guarded, or more, you know, just kind of like not wanting to give up like kind of too much of yourself.
Men tend to don't want things weaponized later on in situations.
Yeah, it's because the moment you kind of let your guard down and you're vulnerable, you're literally
like,
at the easiest side.
feel
to,
like you
to
can get
kind of be
Caesared.
attacked. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, and even if it's not an intentional, like someone directly going at you, like if you open yourself to someone and they kind of either don't reciprocate or kind of dissuade, it might hit like a different kind of, and of course there might even be no intention behind that, but it's just the way those things can be perceived. So it's easier, and ironically, much like our actual bodies, it's like hard outsides as far as like bones and things like that, but soft kind of muscles and organs inside that are very delicate. So I always think that's an interesting analogy, just kind of for humans in general, as far as emotional vulnerability. But the reason I was bringing that up is just to say, when you kind of see people being so like comfortable around each other, and just like you just feel like, if I can be around you and of course there's cultural aspects to this as well, but if I'm around you and I can be like my most true self, then that's going to allow me to strengthen the bond so much more to anything, because you're either not being judged or anything like that. And I know there's cultural aspects to that as well. So I'm not gonna like speak on those things of course, but it's just seeing them be so comfortable around each other really does like invite you and everyone else watching to just be more comfortable around each other. Things you might not, at least overseas, be more used to seeing. So it's just, I've always appreciated that with the Korean culture in general, for what I've come to see in my journey in K-pop.
I do think you're 1,000% correct though in the whole assessment of any relationship, whether it's y'all with your significant other or if it's with family. When you can be yourself, that relationship is going to go farther than anything else, because anytime you feel like you have to wear a mask talking to someone, or you need to withhold yourself, it doesn't allow you to kind of be your best self, or for you to really let go when you're engaging with people. So I do feel like in situations where you can let your guard down and be like your true self, you don't want to leave them type of people. The whole point of, and not to get into a deep dive of us, is that this was a group of people who can talk about anime, who can talk about comics, movies, sports. It's like, oh my God, I don't ever need to leave talking with y'all, because we can freely talk about stuff that I couldn't talk about with other people. Absolutely. So now when the sun is coming up, it's like, damn, we got to go. See y'all tomorrow or see y'all next week. Like, it's almost feel like summer camp. Yeah. So it's just... even just think of y'all, because there's people over here, and the whole point of me making the channel was like to interact with people who couldn't interact with other people. Exactly. So just imagine how like you would feel if it's like, yo, I can't talk to anybody, and it's corny. I can't be my true self around people, because I wouldn't be accepted.
And I'm not making this as like a slight to like any like reactors or anything, because me personally, I don't really watch any other reactors. Like I've watched things for like hip hop and rap and things, but like outside of that, like I've never really watched anything for K-pop. But all that to say, it's just when people kind of like they'll react to the video or the song or whatever, and I'm not necessarily saying everyone has to do a deep dive or any kind of thing, but just like putting yourself in the persona of someone who is watching and doesn't really have much connections with people around them, like in their day-to-day life. And then they see, people online, and it's just like when that, 8-minute reaction or something is up, and it's just kind of like, damn. And it's like, I really connect with these people, these reactors or something, to where you feel like friends. And it's like, that's kind of the fun of having, conversation, is just it allows you to be more immersed in everything. And both, analytical purposes, as far as I didn't think of that, or maybe you're seeing it in a different way than I mean, of course we do that on the panel, and then vice versa. Redeemers, when they comment, it's like, oh, we didn't know that aspect of this story or this collaboration or whatever. So there's the music side of it, but also the personal side, where
and
it's
the
like,
gratification, where it's like they thought the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I was right.
I got it.
You got it.
But it was like one of those things too, where it's like just genuine kind of connection with people, and it's like, of course. And I don't want to, make this any, deeper necessarily, but it's just to kind of piggyback off of that, is us being comfortable up here to, talk to each other and to be open and to share, the things we vibe with or don't, or, if everyone else up here doesn't like something, someone having the freedom to like, nah, I actually kind of liked it. You know what I mean? Like you're free to kind of say those things, but us having that connection with each other is something that is, I think, important for anyone who may be at home. And it's like you could be at home with headphones and no one's around you, and you know, but it's personal. It's between you and someone else. Like it doesn't necessarily feel like it's like, you know, someone's gonna hear this, someone's gonna, you know, judge me for feeling how I feel. It's like you can really be introspective and with yourself, and I love that our openness can kind of contribute to that, both in discussion and all those other things. But only reason I was bringing that up is in relation to the gin stuff is I feel a lot of that same synergy with each of the members of the group, and it kind of, the group being like that allows us to be like that, and then us being like that allows to. So I just love that kind of that full circle.
It's a good marriage.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of the emphasis of you know, the connection between BTS and ARMY in particular is, you know, like we see how their energies really feed off each other and give each other strength through, you know, all the hardships.
Yeah. Plus, I like to I like to think that the same way us 7, 8, or 10 people, depending on like how big the panel is, operate is very BTS centric. Where it's like it's no bullshit. We are ourselves. You know, we're honest and respectful. You know, and the way everything is set up, I'm pretty sure everybody has a bias. It's like I said, it could be anywhere from 8 to 10 people up here. One of us is gonna click with somebody, and it's, you know, it's gonna be y'all person. So you know, I like everything that they do, and I like that we kind of do the same things as far as being comfortable with each other, and like you said, not being afraid to like not so much check each other, but just almost on some like, me and Kurt could be as cool as possible, but that don't mean I gotta like everything Kurt like, and that don't mean he gotta like everything that I like. And we don't need to shit on each other neither if we don't. Where it's just like, well, why do you like that? Oh, because of this. Oh, I wasn't really feeling it. Okay, I understand, but this is why I like it. Well, this is why I wasn't. Okay, I respect your opinion.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it really is that simple ultimately, because it's like, you know, I mean, maybe I'm different or we're different or whatever, but yeah. It's like if in like 05 or something, if you found the group first, it's like, no, they're mine. Like I found them. But it's like, I don't know. It's like maybe it's just us or me or whatever. But it's just like I don't know. Like I'm never like, I'm always willing to listen to what anyone has to say, agree or disagree, because like I feel like that's how you grow. That's how you learn. You know, you gotta. It's kind of like, ironically, like even if you know, you're working out or anything, it's like, you know, when you feel like you can't lift another rep, it's like when you lift that extra 2 reps or 3 reps beyond what you thought you could do, that's where the growth is.
That's where growth goes.
You know what I mean? And likewise in conversation or anything like this, it's like if like I'm at this level and someone else is talking about things that are this level, those are all things that allow me to grow and to learn. And it's like, you know, even if I dismiss that information or kind of like, you know, choose to not agree with it, it opens an avenue of thinking in our minds that are, you know,
that had happened before on here. Remember when we had the conversation about like females in K-pop?
Yes.
And the whole, you know, like quote unquote crazy fans or just stans or whatever. And I appreciate that regardless of how Redeemers felt during that situation, we all took it as a time for a learning exercise, both ways. Us kind of expressing ourselves,
and truthfully,
them expressing themselves, and just kind of learning from it.
Exactly, and truthfully, I wish I articulated myself a little better, because I was highlighting a little bit of the differences that weren't touched on specifically, but that was all building to a much larger point that I basically glossed over a little bit, and it kind of made it seem, I guess, like I was a little dissuasive of it, and that's
you weren't the only one, bro. I also wish that my wording would have been a little bit different with certain situations.
But as you said, you know, I like that. You know, we learn. It helps me to, you know, be better with my words. It helps us to you know, hear outside perspectives, because it's not just, you know, people on the internet talking. It's like, nah, like I went through that, or so and so went through that, and it's just like there's a more tangible kind of connection to those things, and it's just that's what the process has ultimately allowed us to do on such a normal level. Like, and I just, you know, I really love that.
And that's what I love that too. And it's just like, and sometimes I gotta watch my bands when I go back and forth with like some people. My thing is that I don't like I don't like when people word or say certain things, and then when you want to ask like a little bit deeper of like questions, it's more so people being on the defensive as opposed to kind of them taking this opportunity to maybe teach like a little bit more, because obviously we're talking from the perspective of, you know, joining an army in 2019 or 2020 versus some people who's been with the fandom like in day one. So we're only gauging certain conversations based off information given to us from either them or from like guides, and we weren't outside during that time. So for people who were outside, I like it when they kind of just be like, well, hey, I understand that y'all don't know what's going on, but like this is what was going on in 2015 or 2014, so this is why it's going on. Versus some people who will like kind of jump in comments and be like, you don't like something I like, fuck you. And then it's like, okay, how do we go from this conversation? We don't even react to BTS. Fuck you. And it's like, I like them. You're not allowed to no more. But
It'd be like that.
no, it'll be like that. And I know sometimes it's a language barrier. So I kind of get that. But I like interactions with people in the sense of, good morning, Lo. I like interactions in the sense where people can like really take these moments and make them teachable moments. How's it going? Yeah, so how you feel? See?
We just talked about this.
I don't know if he'd have been able to do this 2 years ago. I
Go on to something.
I don't know, low 2018? 19? I bet you.
No, 15.
Yeah, I was about to say, nah, bro. I was about to say, this is when you first came.
My son was born.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was gonna say, we 7 years in. Yeah, we're having gym moments.
Subtine, where's camera? I will have some.
Yeah, anything else you would add?
Nah, I really love this video though. I definitely did ironically forget about the shirt thing as far as like stretching and
Yeah,
everything.
J-Hope following him around trying to get his midriff up.
Yeah.
Sounds like Jake.
Just like the back and forth banter of it and them being like so playful, you know, amongst it and everything. Oh, that was another thing I meant to say. I forget who did it. I want to say it was either Cookie or Hope or someone like that in one of the Rise episodes or something like that. Possibly, no, it might have been on a Run episode. But it was they basically had an art drawing where they would like draw on each of the members, and one of them drew Jin as just a triangle, like the broad shoulders with like the thin. Ironically, like
I'll never forget when they drew Bang.
Oh yeah, when they drew Bang,
the eyes.
just the
that's what I'm
eyes.
saying. So like those, I know that was a moment that had me rolling. I was laughing so fucking hard from that. But yeah, it's like moments like that, and when they play off each other, like just in those kind of ways, it's just like the humor between each of the members, you know, and then the group cohesively as a whole is just like. It's kind of like, you know, how some redeemers will kind of be in touch with a little bit of our lingo, like where they'll be like, oh, God tier, top 5, or just like these little slogans or sayings that we'll say. I love when you get to that point with any kind of group where it's like when you kind of get their humor,
Start getting the
a little
inside
bit,
jokes
and you
or the
start to-
little humor.
Yeah, the inside joke. It just, you feel like you're, I mean, honestly invited kind of, and just like, you know, in on the joke, and it, you know, it's
That's
comforting.
how we know how strong our subs is. I don't
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
like calling y'all fans. I call y'all, you know, the subs or our
Yeah.
weenies. You know what I'm saying? Because once they start, I'm not gonna lie. When they started saying like, hey, or they call them 10 'cause they perfect and everything like that. Like that I'm not gonna lie. See, that really touched me because it's
Shout out Jules.
like I said, definitely shout out Jules. Like I said, I had to disappear for a minute, but
Cheesy Keith. When they started though, when they found out Pizza Place,
yeah.
was
that
like
on
they
the Zoom?
on to us.
Let us know if y'all want another live stream too before.
We'll probably do one before
Maybe
this
around the
month or so.
holidays or something.
Because we do for that in another Zoom.
That one that
Yeah.
been on there.
That was fun.
Cherry Clinton.
Was that the one I left where like y'all kept going?
Yeah, I think you had just left because Ty had left too. He went to a pizza place. Came
Was it the
back.
only one?
Yeah. Oh my god. Do you got a favorite gym moment?
I'm playing.
Well, definitely the joint I just did. Where's Camaraderie? I think it was Graham Norton, sure. That shit was hilarious.
I would say low key one of mine was when they did the when Jin was the schoolgirl or whatever. But remember the face he made when he was trying to get Suge to like break character or whatever. Mind you, this was early-ish in the journey to where like I didn't really know Jin's personality to that level.
You talking about when Sugar was this girl?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, no,
yeah.
that's what you mean.
Jin made that face in the run episode. I don't know why, but that was like a like I was like, oh my god, like that was the funniest face like I ever seen. I
It
feel
was
like.
funny too because of how not like how tough we know Suge to be, but for him just to walk in with the wig on and everything,
He
pull
just-
the gun out.
Yeah,
He really did. He's just like,
Jim was like, yo.
and ironically, and shout out to Suge too for not breaking on that because I don't know how he didn't like break on that one, but that was just hilarious. But I remember there was like a lot of key moments like that just had me rolling with Jin.
Another one was when Runch, you know, we celebrate him. Remember when we did that clip and it was like the BTS angry moments or fight moments or some shit like that, and they were all talking. It looks like they were on the show or something. They were all talking, and V was about to say something, and Runch was like, "Who asked you?" You know what I'm saying? And then you know V took that to heart, and he got sad and like started crying and everything like that, or was about to cry.
That's sad.
And Jin made him apologize. He made RM like apologize. No, like go ahead and apologize. You shouldn't have done it. I thought that was dope because you don't usually get to see. First of all, you don't see moments like that. I'm sure they have a lot like off camera and everything. And I don't really need to see a lot of it to make them human or anything, but I thought that was super dope. Just how like, nah, bro.
Correct your brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy you mentioned that because like obviously like one of the big things was like the Jin and V argument thing.
I wasn't actually here for that video either, so thank you for kind of bringing that up.
That was me. It was
interesting
me,
for me
Nick,
as well.
and Todd that night.
Yeah.
It's funny like you mentioned that because like that kind of was like a big argument for them. The love Jin and V had for each other.
Yeah.
Remember on the In the Soup joint? I'm not sure if you were still here for that when they almost, I don't want to say they was like chumping V, but it almost was like, yo, we not waiting for you to fucking flip the rice or whatever it was, because Cookie had flipped the joint or whatever and got it like perfect. And V was like, I want to do it too. And they was like, nah, we not waiting like kind of for you to do that. And Jin was like, nah, fuck that. Like he can do it. Like y'all gonna wait and y'all gonna wait for him to flip the joint or whatever. Then V flipped it perfectly and shit and did it. He was like, you cool, you can flip it again if you want and shit. I don't know. I like how Jin kind of be house and shit a little bit. Like obviously, like we've never. Well, I don't think I've ever seen them blatantly try to disrespect each other, whether it was on purpose. Sometimes somebody might say something and you don't know how hard someone take it. So
Well, sometimes,
RM's
it's
intention,
just, like, bidden in a lot of cases.
like
so it
RM's
can get
intention
misconstrued.
during that moment may not have been like I want to maliciously hurt V or I want to belittle him. He might have been just being serious and V was playing, but V might have took that on some like that wasn't cool for me at that moment with people. You know,
He looked like he
what was
really
going on.
had something. V looked like he really wanted to contribute to the conversation.
And honestly, no, I will say I'm not exactly sure, and I don't want to speak entirely on like the cultural aspect, but I do think there is a big essence in a lot of what you see of kind of groups in general, where it's like a wantingness to contribute, to feel like you're helping, even if it's like meals. It's like, yo, I'll set up, or I'll do dishes, I'll take out the trash, or set the table. Like just these things of like I just want to do my part to kind of help. So it's like even I can't speak specifically on that because I haven't seen it, but it's just even if it was on like some that type, something like that, it was just but yeah, that's really interesting. And I do honestly like I've seen less of those moments, I'll say, at least because of what I've been available for and what I haven't. But it's just knowing that there are those moments where it's like, listen, like me kind of being the oldest in the group, like I'm gonna, really try to, set people on the right path and kind of, look over and take care of everyone else.
Nah, but I like that. Thanks for bringing that up because it was just like those, like ironically with the V and Jin kind of back and forth. I've seen nothing but moments of Jin really just making sure. Look at V right underneath him.
You can't forget. Oh, you're a joke guy.
Oh, you're a joke guy.
Can't forget that.
So
That was on the-
look at all of them right under.
That was on Carpool, right? Carpool karaoke.
Which is funny. Everybody was saying they want us to react to it.
Yeah.
Just because I want to redo the Rise and a couple other joints just because now I feel like I can like soak in more of the information again. Like
It's less
y'all
of
just
trying
do,
to learn like everything about everyone and more of just appreciating.
Y'all were
what's
just doing
actually-
favorite moments like outside of the. Oh damn, y'all been going an hour. My fault.
yeah, no. This was this all for Gin Day.
Oh okay.
We just was doing more content for Gin Day.
Did y'all do favorite like music moments and everything?
Not yet.
Gin particularly?
Yeah, not for Gin in particular. No, you was here when we did the ones on right. We did the high notes and everything.
Yeah, well, we did. Yeah.
And then the covers and stuff. And these more of the fun videos. Just more.
What's your favorite? We don't got like list, but what's your favorite vocal moments?
Crystal
From Gin in particular. Hey, I don't know. Just
I can't mimic my note.
Crystal Snow definitely is one. People like that fucking triple. He's
triple high note, and
the
honestly, even
the
before
triple
that,
high
though,
note was really crazy.
even before that though, like his actual part building up to
fire.
that.
Yeah.
I like his part in like Let Go and like Your Eyes Tell, Truth Untold, like all those like kind of
It's four that I can't like pick one over the other.
You almost could pick any 4 Japanese songs if you want to.
No,
Just-
honestly,
Apart from Microcosmos that I just
oh,
that I always do.
Microcosmos, absolutely.
The Jamais Vu, everything he contributed to the song. Don't Leave Me, obvious, and his Rain on Spring Day.
Oh yeah, true. What you call it? Dionysus too is high note. Dionysus.
See?
That's a big highlight.
I
as
think
well.
Persona he just snapped. I think all the marketing line they each got to love yourself, and then he snapped on that Persona. And on just in 2018, I feel like they really was spoiling Army and giving.
I feel like he low key carried a lot on Butter. Like he's in a lot more moments. Because that was my problem with Dynamite is I thought he didn't get enough, and I felt like they kind of refixed that for Butter. It was like, well, we gonna make sure he eat on here. So I like that a lot. It's funny, and they brought up the Dynamite shit.
I could be wrong too. Part of me wants to say Magic Shot.
No, I don't
Magic
think
Shot was a
you're
good
wrong.
one. Maybe like Life Goes On or something like that too, somewhere in there. I'm just trying to think of those like
Life Goes On for sure. Home. He carried on. He carried a lot on there. No, for sure.
I always say I love everyone on Hwayeon Yonghwa, but definitely Jin's
Pluto.
Abyss and Moon.
Yeah, I didn't even. bring
Pluto's an OT7 track. I think every single
no, and that's
person-
what I mean.
yeah.
It's like
It's
they all like really do snap.
Abyss for sure though. Now that I'm thinking about it too.
he brought it from the abyss. He taking it to the moon.
Tonight.
Like, comment, subscribe, hashtag Redeemers. Let us know how y'all feel about Jin.
House of Cards.
Y'all better be subscribed. You get like an hour of content just
We're
for
giving y'all
Jin.
better content than some of these shows.
We love y'all. Jump on the Patreon.
Wednesday though. Go watch Wednesday if you ain't watching
Go
it.
holler at y'all. Peace.